Welcome back to Cooking with Tammy. Do I have a banger for you guys tonight? When I tell you, I can't wait to, let me tell you. Tonight we're going to be making lobster mac and cheese, but just not any lobster mac and cheese. This lobster mac and cheese is going to be filled with tons of flavor. We're going to be using some of the best cheeses. So let me tell you, it's going to be everything. Without further ado, let's introduce our ingredients and get started. The seasonings we're going to need for our delicious lobster mac and cheese are Cajun seasoning, parsley, garlic powder as well as minced garlic, onion powder, oil, cheddar cheese, half and half, parmesan cheese, pasta. I'm also going to be using gruyere cheese, smoked gouda, smoked paprika, Old Bay seasoning, butter, shallots, chicken bouillon, or basically chicken broth. We also have the star of the show, of course. We have Lobster Tails, and we also have some Langostino Lobsters. So with all of that being said, let's get to cooking. We're back and we're all prepped up and ready to go. We have our grated cheeses, we have our gruyere cheese, as well as our smoked gouda, our cheddar cheese, not to mention our lobster tails, as well as our Langostino lobsters are washed, clean, deveined, and ready to go. First thing we're gonna add to our Langostino lobster is some oil. Hit it off with a little drizzle. Why do I add oil? The oil is gonna help the seasoning to stick. I'm gonna add a little bit of Old Bay. We're not gonna over season because for those of you who might not be familiar with this particular lobster, it's very delicate. We're also gonna add a little bit of Cajun seasoning. We're gonna add some smoked paprika, give it a nice flair. It's definitely gonna work alongside our cheeses to bring out the best flavor in our mac and cheese. We're gonna add some garlic powder as well as onion powder. When it comes to seasoning your seafoods, you're gonna use a light hand because you don't wanna over season. I'm gonna go on my trusty hands and we're gonna mix it all up. This meat is very delicate, so you wanna use a light hand when combining the seasoning with the lobster, all right? In regards to price point, now, as you guys saw, we had the 3 lobster tails. Those were about like 42, 43 bucks versus the Langostino lobster. I got like literally the whole pack for $30. So if you want to be cost efficient, especially if you're making a mac and cheese, this is the way to go. What we're going to do is we're going to move over to our pan. We're going to saute these Langostino lobsters. To my pan, I'm going to add a light drizzle of oil. And we're also going to go in there with some shallots. Why am I using shallots and not diced onions? Because shallots brings that flavor. It's nice and sweet. It has like that sweet undertone, but yet the flavors are like so powerful. It's absolutely delicious. It's a step up from using onions. I'm an onion fanatic, yes, but you got to use the shallots from time to time when the time is right. Anyway, we're going to add our shallots to the oil. We're going to add our minced garlic. Give it a good toss. Make sure you keep stirring it. Make sure that pan is not too hot because you don't want to burn your garlic. You don't want, you just don't want that burnt flavor. Mix it on in. If you got to turn your stovetop off, just to allow the pan to cool down just a bit, please do so. Once you start to smell those aromatics, guess what? It's time for us to add our Langostino lobster, just like that. Allow it to get nice and hot. Allow those flavors and aromatics to continue to be released. Allow the flavors from the lobster to infuse with the shallots as well as the onions and vice versa. And trust me, everything is going to play out perfect because we're looking to get that flavor from beginning to end. We want flavor from the lobster, all of our seasonings and everything that we use infused into our what? Lobster mac and cheese, baby. Let's get it. Turn it up a little bit. Let that heat do what it do. For those of you who have never tasted Langostino lobsters, the texture pretty much resembles shrimp more than lobster, believe it or not. And it's more so related to the porcelain crab as well as the hermit crab. So that's a little fact on Langostino lobsters. This is used in a lot of restaurant chains, whether it be lobster pizza, whatever you might order up, this is what they're using. It gets the job done and it has the perfect price point. I'm gonna add a little bit more Old Bay seasoning. That's good. A little bit more Cajun seasoning. That's it. And we're also gonna go in there with some parsley as well. give it that color. We need color, we need color. Yes, we do, yes, we do. Check it out, look at the difference, right? Beautiful. Presentation is key. Not only presentation, but of course, taste. Can't have one without the other. We're gonna turn our stovetop off because we don't wanna overcook. We're gonna add it to our bowl. We're gonna be using the same pan. As you can see, we have all of the flavors right here locked into this pan. And we would be kind of silly, right? If we were to like literally rinse this pan out, guess what? We'll lose all of the flavor and we'd have to start over, obviously by adding different seasonings. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the flavor that's here, add some butter, allow that butter to melt down. Our pan is already starting to deglaze, which is perfect. Now that our butter is melted, we're gonna add some half and half. And so far this is about, I would honestly say about 2.5 to 3 cups. Mix it in really good. We're also gonna add some chicken broth. When it comes to the chicken broth, for those of you who've been rocking out with me for a while, you know what it is. Prefer to make it. How can you make it? By adding some water. If you're gonna use the chicken bouillon, break it up. If you're gonna use the powder, pour the powder on in there. Stir it up with the water, dissolve it, or if you want to use better than bouillon, which is a paste, same thing applies. What we're doing right now is waiting for our cream mixture to come up to temperature. I want to add a little Old Bay to my cream sauce. I'm also going to add some Parmesan cheese. Stir it on up. When you're adding the Parmesan cheese, make sure you add it before the milk mixture is too hot because you don't want your Parmesan to start clumping. Add a little bit more because I want that flavor. Turn our stovetop down to low medium. This is not a rush. And we're going to start to add our cheeses. We're going to start off with adding some of our cheeses. I'm going to add some Gruyere cheese to our mixture. Stir it on in. And yes, I didn't do the whole roux thing for our mac and cheese. Just not necessary this time around. Take your time, add it in, and just keep stirring. Before you know it, your mixture is going to start to thicken up. When it comes to adding our cheese, do not add all of the cheese. You definitely want to reserve some because guess what? We need to top our mac and cheese. We're also going to add our smoked gouda, which is going to give it that nice smoky element. And last but not least, we're going to add our sharp cheddar. Of course, you need that sharp cheddar when you're making mac and cheese for that bite. It's definitely going to help to bring some personality to our mac and cheese. Take your time, stir it in. And as you continue stirring, you're going to feel that the sauce is starting to thicken up. And this is perfect. Going to add some more cheese. Once again, the stovetop is on low heat. This is perfect. Everything is melted. So I'm going to turn the stovetop off. And of course, behind the scenes, off camera, I already boiled my pasta. And when it came down to the pasta, I pretty much boiled it al dente only because we're going to be placing it into the oven and we don't want like a mushy pasta. I mean, then again, it's personal preference, right? But in most cases or most instances, you don't want a mushy pasta. Wash it off in cold water because once you're done, you need to stop that cooking process. Add our pre-cooked pasta to our pan. Help it on out just a bit. Did I get everything out? I can't see in here. Did you get it? Did I get everything out? Yes, you did. No, you didn't. All right. Separate the pasta. All right. Look at our beautiful cheese sauce. We're going to add it to our pasta, just like that. Sit on up. This is going to be so amazing. So delicious. Definitely holiday savvy. Gonna add some more of our cheese sauce. Now that everything is well combined, just like that. Get it all incorporated into the pasta. I want the cheese sauce to literally go into the holes of the pasta. You hear me? I don't want not one piece of pasta not coated. I want everything coated. We're gonna add our Langostino Lobster. Get it all in there. Add some of that liquid because you want the flavors from the lobster infused into your mac and cheese to give it that nice seafood flavor. Combine that as well. Look at the color that is taking on already. It's so pretty. Not to mention that parsley that we added to the lobster is distributing itself throughout the pasta and it looks so beautiful. My mouth is salivating, so trust me, I know your mouth is salivating too. I'm gonna add a couple pieces to the top so that way it sticks out, you know, peeks out and says hi to everybody. Hello, everybody. You needed to say hello to your dinner guests. I want to get those shallots and everything combined into the mac and cheese. And of course, we're going to go in and we're going to top it. I'm going to combine my cheeses. Combine the gruyere with the smoked gouda, as well as the sharp cheddar. This part of the video is going to be a talk through. We're going to combine our cheeses like I said, and we're going to take it and top our lobster mac and cheese, top it off really, really good. Once we're done, we're going to get an additional pan. And instead of covering it down with foil, what you can do is take the baking pan and cover the lobster mac and cheese down. Once you're done, you're going to place it onto like a baking sheet or cookie sheet because the cheeses may bubble over depending on the depth and size of your pan. You're going to place it into your 350-degree oven, and that's Fahrenheit, of course. You're going to allow the cheese to melt, become nice and gooey and all bubbly and stuff. Once you're done, you're going to allow it to get nice and brown, and this is what your finalized product should look like. It's about that time. What? It's about that time. It's time for us to season up our lobster tails with some, of course, some Old Bay, as well as garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, Cajun seasoning, and we have some parsley, and we also have some melted butter. So our melted butter, halfway melted butter, we're gonna add some Old Bay. We're gonna add some garlic powder. Onion powder. As well as some paprika. This is not the smoked paprika. I'm using regular only because I'm using it for color. I'm also going to add some Cajun seasoning and some parsley. Yes. Mix it on up. This is going to be the perfect mix. It's going to make our lobster tails taste so good. Our lobster tails, they're ready to go, washed clean. And we washed it off in a little lemon juice and salt water. We went straight down the middle, straight down the back, in the middle of the lobster tail. And we took a sharp scissors and basically we just cut it open. And we separated the back of the lobster from this part right here. I'm just gonna close the shell and place the lobster to sit on top, just like that. And that's gonna give us the perfect presentation. All right, it's time to get to work. Take our perfectly seasoned butter and we're gonna add it to our lobster tails just like that. That is so gorgeous. And I gotta be honest, for about 42 bucks, this is not bad because these lobster tails are pretty thick. Take it all in. How beautiful is that, right? I'm gonna raise it up and I'm gonna get the back as well. Nothing goes unseasoned. And no worries, it's not going to be over seasoned because we didn't add a lot of salt, so it's no worries. A lot of times people, they get frantic, they get besides themselves because they think that something is going to be over seasoned or it's going to be salty, and I just can't understand it. They figure because you pull out a number of seasonings that whatever it is that you're making is going to be salty. How could that be possible if it's not salt based? Out of maybe like 6 seasonings, only 2 is salt based. How is that possible? Unless you're going to overindulge on that 1 or 2 particular seasonings. Stop worrying. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. I taste everything before I publish it. If it doesn't taste right, we do it over. I went ahead and made some more of that garlic butter sauce because during the cooking process, I'm going to be basting the lobster tail with more garlic butter. Anyway, to this mix right here, we're going to add a little lemon juice. Fresh squeeze of lemon juice. Give you that little pop in the back of your mouth when you eat it. And besides the seafood, you got to have that lemon juice. Mix it all together. And now we just have to sit patiently and wait till our lobster tail is halfway finished. Our lobster tails are halfway done, so we're going to baste it some more with our garlic butter sauce. That is so pretty. Just let it drip on there. This is definitely a holiday treat, no doubt about it. We're gonna put it back in the oven and allow it to cook through some more. Our lobster tails are out of the oven. Look at how beautiful. Now here's the thing. The best way to cook the lobster tails is to have a food thermometer on deck, so that way you can always check. The internal temperature for lobster tails should be about 145. Once the meatiest part of the lobster tail is 145 or a little bit more, that means it's perfectly cooked. Take it out of the oven. Gonna sprinkle a little lemon juice on top. This is gonna be so delicious. We're gonna take our lobster tail, we're gonna place it right here onto our baked mac and cheese. You know what? Not baked mac and cheese, our baked lobster mac and cheese. Slide this one over just a bit, move on over. And we're gonna take lobster tail number 3 and put it right here as well. And guess what? We are in business. OMG, you can't tell me this right here isn't it. All right, lobster baked mac and cheese with lobster tails on top. That's perfectly seasoned. We hit it off with a little bit of lemon juice, so trust me, you know the flavor is gonna be everything. The moment that we've all been waiting for. Yes, it's time for us to cut into our delicious lobster mac and cheese. I'm gonna take this lobster tail right here. Check it out. And I'm gonna place it right here onto my plate. I'm like so excited. I know you guys can hear it in my voice. And we are gonna cut into our delicious mac and cheese. Put it right here, just like that. What? You know what? I see some lobster right here. Let me go in and get that and put it right here as well. You know I'm greedy, right? If you didn't know, now you know, for real. Let me cut into this lobster tail. I'm gonna put the lemon right here. And we're gonna turn this bad boy around just like that. Say hi to everybody. Take that fork. And I can guarantee you this is cooked perfectly. Let's take some of that mac and cheese. Take a bite, guys. Take a bite. Hit it with a little lemon juice, of course. This is definitely holiday worthy. This is everything. Wow. Real talk, this meal right here is magnificent. Whoa. Everything. Definitely so delicious. Of course, full recipe details in the description bar. There's only two places for the recipe details, guys. It's either it's gonna be in the description bar or I'm gonna put it on my website, cookingwithtammy.recipes. Those two places. So good. So good. Thank you so much for hanging out and cooking with Tammy. And don't forget to like, comment, and of course, you better share these videos because guess what? Sharing is caring. And I will catch you guys in another video. Talk to you later. Bye, guys.